How to find your signature fragrance, niche luxury edition. The other day, I did a list of mainly designer fragrances with some advice of how you could find your signature fragrance. So let's start with these niche and luxury fragrances for winter. So two heavy hitters here. First one, red tobacco. I think this should be a staple in anyone's collection, anyone who is serious about collecting fragrances, because this can be had for a fairly decent price for the quality and strength of perfume that you get. This does have some similarities to Carlisle and mystery tobacco, but this is a bit more of a challenge to wear. It's stronger, it's longer lasting, I would say, than both of those. But I think if you're looking to go into niche fragrances, this is a great option for you to have. It's very fruity, lots of tobacco, you've got a hint of oud, and it's just a strong, powerful fragrance that's going to perform in any situation in the winter. So we want a fragrance that's going to cut through the cold air, and that's going to do it for you in the winter. I don't want to hear any complaints that this doesn't perform, because I promise you, whoever you are, this will perform. It's a beast mode fragrance, and it's definitely a good one to have in your collection. So winter number one, red tobacco. Or if you want to be a bit more fancy, you could go for Parfums de Marly's Herod. This is one of my favorite staple winter fragrances. I love this. It's very warming, comforting. It's a beautiful, smooth, sweet tobacco, similar to Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille, but this one's a bit more masculine. We have incense in here, and it's not quite as sweet as Tobacco Vanille. It's a bit thicker, a bit more heavy. It doesn't project as much as Tobacco Vanille, so bear that in mind. But it's a beautiful fragrance, and this one reminds me of winter, kind of Christmas time, sitting in front of an open fire, just spending time with friends and family. When you're in that really happy, comfortable environment, there's no better time to wear Herod. So let's move on to spring. So for spring, we have two options to show you. Acqua de Parma Colonia Intensa is option number one. This is a really easy to wear, grab and go fragrance. Sort of very citrusy, bright, but has some floral facets as well. This reminds me of summertime. This is like the fragrance to wear when summer is just around the corner and you've had the winter. Now you're looking at the warmer days. You're thinking of summer evenings. You're thinking of your vacation, and it's such a invigorating, energetic fragrance to wear in that situation. Acqua de Parma, like MANCERA, is one of those niche fragrance brands that I would really recommend getting into if you're just starting your niche journey, because they can be had for a fairly decent price and they're really high quality. Now, I'm not an expert in terms of what perfume has natural ingredients, what are synthetics. I will be learning that in the future, but this does smell very, very natural. It's clean and it's just a joy to wear. So number one, spring, Colonia Intensa. Now, number two from XERJOFF. This is 40 knots. Now, I've been really enjoying this recently. I think this is a phenomenal fragrance and fits in perfectly in the spring. And I'll tell you why. Because this is a salty, aquatic fragrance in its heart. But after the opening and the heart notes that you get, this goes very woody and it's quite strong. So I wouldn't really want to wear this in the summer. I'd probably get away with it in the summer evening maybe. But this suits really well in the spring, sort of in between the cold weather and the really warm weather. But it smells really expensive. And this for me is more of a formal occasion fragrance, I guess. You could wear it casually, but I think when this is dressed up, this really shines. It smells very expensive, luxurious. It's almost a compliment magnet, actually. You get a lot of compliments wearing this because I think people like the oceanic saltiness and the woody structure. Smells formal and professional. So spring number two, XERJOFF 40 knots. Right, now we're moving into my favorite time of the year, summer. And of course, I had to bring in this fragrance, Louis Vuitton Imagination. No, it's not a niche fragrance, but it is certainly a luxury fragrance. And I looked at my whole collection. I couldn't think of a better fragrance to choose if I had to pick a signature fragrance for the summer, one I want to wear every day during the summer. I just think it's a marvelous fragrance. It's the best citrus, fresh, zesty, energetic fragrance I've ever tried. It lasts very long on my skin and really does fill the air around you with this beautiful aura of freshness. And I haven't experienced a fragrance as good as Imagination in the fresh category. If there is a better choice, please let me know in the comments, because I would love to try it. But Imagination is my number one pick. I think it's superb for the summer. I think it's superb all round, but I think it's superb and it shines in the summer. So last month then we are moving on to autumn or fall. So a bit of a challenging month actually to pick a fragrance because we don't want anything maybe too fresh like Imagination or Colonia Intensa. We want something that's going to be slightly fresh but also sweet and maybe a bit boozy, just a bit heavier in their base notes. So I've gone with one of my favourite fragrances of all time, and that's ROJA Enigma Cologne, Parfum Cologne, or whatever it's called. But the Cologne version is as good as the Parfum version for less price, much less price per mil. And this suits more for more occasions than the Parfum. It's easier to wear. This is a very vibrant opening. I don't know how else to explain it, but it's very vibrant and energetic. It doesn't smell like anything I've smelled in the fragrance industry before, but it does kind of remind me of popping a Coke can or something like that. Very sparkly bergamot, I guess you could say. Fizzy. But it's beautiful, it's unique, has this addictive quality to it that I just want to keep smelling, you know. But I think it's wonderful. And then as it goes in further into the dry down, you get spices, you get booziness. I actually pick up a lot of booziness and some sweetness as well. It's really hard to describe Enigma because it's so different. And apart from Enigma Parfum, there isn't anything I've tried that's similar, but it's such a beautiful fragrance for any time. But for the autumn, it's going to shine really well because you've got that fresh opening, but then you've also got the boozy notes and the sweet notes as well. So it does go on a bit of a journey. And, you know, as we're going into autumn, we are going on a journey from summer to autumn. We're changing the weather and we want something that's going to encapsulate that. This actually really does last a long time on my skin as well. I get really good longevity from this and it makes me feel confident. That's one of the best things about Enigma cologne. It just makes me feel confident, and I know when I wear it that I smell good, and that just gives me confidence. And that's one of the best things about fragrances, I think. The only thing I would say, I don't think this works that well when you're casual. I think this is better dressed up, but it's one of those fragrances that you wear to these formal occasions and you're going to smell better than anyone else. So these are my picks for every month of the year. We have luxury and niche fragrances in this lineup. Let me know what your picks would be, and I'll see you soon.